Aboard a bewailing, foggy fishing boat is where the lighthouse begins. Voyaging towards an eerily remote island somewhere in 1980s New England, two Wickies, played by Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson, intend on spending just 4 weeks maintaining a lighthouse.
To 4 weeks.
Until they are taken captive by the curse of an unrelenting storm. Director Robert Eggers leads the audience into a twisted labyrinth of psychological fantasy, using perspective as a device to construct the fantastic world. Tolkien's theory of recovery argues that by seeing a new perspective in fantasy, audiences are able to regain a clear view of their own reality. By simultaneously mirroring and juxtaposing reality within diegesis, The Lighthouse demonstrates a complicated relationship between fantasy and verisimilitude, the intersection between which comments on the intricacy and instability of our grasp on reality. At first glance, an R-rated sticker alongside visual aesthetic reminiscent of classics like Nosferatu and Psycho may lead audiences to assume that The Lighthouse belongs within the horror genre. Fantasy, according to Leitz and Johnson, is a fictional action story with prominent supernatural content that is inspired by myth, legend, or folklore. Origin of the Lighthouse's narrative exists parallel to that of traditional fantasy.
Came across the story of Small's lighthouse in Wales in the early 19th century, where there were 2 lighthouse keepers, one older, one younger, and a storm comes to their lighthouse and they get stranded.
Although undeniably home to themes often seen in horror, at its core, The Lighthouse is a fairy tale. Eggers describes the film as a macabre fairy tale, a term that has been used to describe Ari Aster's Midsummer and fables of the Brothers Grimm. The Lighthouse is an earthbound fantasy, existing in a mundane world where unreality intrudes. The characters' increasingly unsound minds work similarly to that of a seeing stone in Coraline or the Spiderwick Chronicles, distorting perception and turning the everyday world into a fantasy. Mise-en-scene is chronically veiled by mist, symbolizing both the audience and Young's inability to see reality. Constant dishonesty and manipulation too keeps the truth buried.
Both men lie so frequently to each other and themselves that there really is no way to know what's real and what's not.
The symbol of fog is seen again, this time in the form of smoke that spills from the Wickie's lips alongside their lies. Gaslighting, derived from 1938 play Gaslight, is the intentional manipulation used to convince someone to question their own reality, perception, or sanity.
Think I can trust the insane ravings of a mad woman?
I am going mad.
Old frequently gaslights young.
What made your last keeper leave?
Went mad, he did.
It's making you mad.
I scrubbed this here place twice over.
Did I say you did nothing of the sort? You're so mad, you know not up from down. I'm probably a figment of your imagination.
And tells contradicting stories.
Me dragging me old stump about. Thought you said you broke it. You must have misheard.
Old sinister mind games purposefully warp Young's perception.
It's all horseshit! Your leg? A liar!
Fabricating a false reality in which the story takes place.
Asking Robert Eggers right at the beginning, is this stuff actually happening? Is it a magical island? Whose perspective is the story being told from? And he's like, you have to decide that for yourself.
The second ingredient to insanity is intoxication. Old repeatedly pressures Young into drinking alcohol as a means of pacifying and altering his perception of reality.
The only medicine is drink. Keeps them sailors happy, keeps them agreeable, keeps them calm, keeps them stupid.
In the beginning, Young tactically avoids intoxication, but eventually succumbs, the two men's excessive drinking aiding their downward spiral into insanity.
Without a drink.
The insanity resulting from dishonesty and intoxication, along with isolation, situation, and labor, eventually drive the men to their demise. Much like a Greek mythology morale story, the two men are punished for their wrongdoings. Through this fantasy's new perspective, the audience is able to gain a clearer view of their own reality, understanding the complication between what is real and what is not.